your camera's there, my camera's there. I mean, it takes Skype. It's almost like volleyball. It's like, throwing it back and forth, or badminton or whatever, man. And
I,
then suddenly we're connected.
I see a lovely Blade Runner poster to your right hand side. How
Oh
lovely is that?
yeah. Signed by the members of the cast. Yeah.
Yes.
Some incredibly nice guy sent that. And I know I've told you this before, but Michelle was so excited because you had sent me a gift. And then when I opened it up and looked at it, she said, "I'm not topping that this year."
No, it's not an easy one to top, really, is it?
It really isn't.
Nope.
But that's right over there at my desk. So,
It is.
Yeah. Trying to see that. I mean, my screen is so small on my iPhone. And of course I need to see you so we can interact, but yeah. So I'm not sure what is behind me.
No, you've got all sorts of goodies. You every time we do these conversations, I'm always embarrassed by my crappy backdrop that I have to set up at the last minute because I've not got a designated room yet. And then I look at yours and it's just like, it's impressive.
Well,
I'm just going to sit here for an hour and just stare at the stuff.
I've got one prop that I'm working on now, and then maybe the next time we podcast, I'll take everybody on a tour. How's that sound? Interesting.
I still maintain a John Foutz geeky YouTube channel just to add to your ever increasing list of things to do. Would be a good thing. So
yeah, man.
How are you?
Dude, I'm fine. Just we've got a vacation coming up and a holiday, and so that'll be nice. And so I'm looking forward to that. But I mean, other than that, just continuing working on all my projects on top of my 40-hour-a-week job, and so man. I mean, like, it's all good. We're enjoying a lot of the television and movies that we've been watching.
Yeah.
So that's good. Give us some downtime. And man. And then on top of all that, trying to learn Spanish and Russian and Lakota. I really don't know how all that's going to go simultaneously, because I go from one to the next to the next. And then sign language, American Sign Language, which I need to learn Universal Sign Language, and that way when I finally make it over to England to meet you guys, I can sign in whatever BSL, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's British Sign Language, isn't it? I don't know any of that other than I don't know. That's pretty much it. So
that's still good, man.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's my Donald Trump impression. Oh no, I don't know. Some people say. Yep.
Right.
Are we going to touch upon elections, or should we just skip it and go, do you know what? It's happened. Let's get over it.
We can touch upon it. I was really hoping that the 15 to 30 political text per day from both camps. I don't know how everybody had my phone number. Yeah. And a buddy of mine would get phone calls and emails. So it was just text. And maybe my computer just does a very good job of filtering out all the trash and the garbage and stuff, but with the emails. But I think it was 2 days after the election, then it was like, what do you think? Take the survey. And man, I get so tired of all that. And if you tell them to stop, because I don't know how they are over there in England, maybe your politicians look after your privacy and your phone number.
No, they don't.
So, but it says type stop if you want no more messages. Well, stop doesn't work. Then they're like, hey, we've got a live one. Let's
send more.
Exactly. And then there's every single one of them has a different number. So, you could block all day long and still not be able to block
still not get them all.
So, it's nuts, man.
I think what I found and when we had an election this year, it wasn't, it might have been as heated as the US one. I don't know, in sort of scale wise, I don't know.
Right.
But I think what was weird, saddening a little bit was just the sheer amount of infighting going on social media after the election.
Yeah.
So I would see people go. And again, it's like, you get a vote, you choose who to vote for. If you vote for that person, it's fine. You vote for that person, it's fine. Right. We all get a vote. But they would go, yay, I'm glad he won. And then you would see comments going, blocked, deleted, get off my friends list. And you're like, really? I don't really want all my friends to have exactly the same views as me, because it makes for kind of boring discussions. But there was a lot of people just kicking people off left, right, and center because of who they chose to vote for. And it's just like, I wouldn't lose. I remember in the pandemic where I used to listen to a lot of podcasts, as we all did. And a lot of the podcast hosts I knew from podcasting, and they were like total opposite end of the whole vaccination mask thing.
Right.
I didn't fall out with them.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I guess we won't jump on a podcast and go, hey, why do you not wear a mask? It makes it's no big deal. And it's like, it's fine. I don't mind having different opinions to my friends. I certainly don't go, right, I've known you for a decade. You voted for somebody I didn't vote for. Blocked. I've just found that quite sad.
I never knew you, right? Yeah.
No. And it's a shame that people will just jettison a friendship because of a difference of opinion, regardless of the scale of that difference of opinion. But
right. But still, I mean, the election is over, so now we all need to move forward. We all need to figure out how to get along, how to work things out, and as a country become stronger. And there's a lot of people that I don't think are there yet. And it was interesting. Yeah. My Twitter, everybody, well, for the most part on Twitter, that's a lot of liberal friends, but evidently Instagram is a bunch of conservative friends. So it was interesting, this balance that I have that I didn't know I had until, it's like, I can't believe blah, 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 and whatever. And but I mean, ultimately the election's over. So can we let go? Can we just move forward?
The thing, isn't it? It's like, regardless of whether somebody is a fan of who's going to be your president in January, you kind of need to go, he is the president,
right?
He is the president. Some people say he's the president. Right. I need to work on my Trump, but I'm getting there. And you need to go, okay, let's try.
I want to see your Kamala.
I haven't really, because I haven't seen her do that much media coverage. She hasn't really made it too much over here, because obviously Trump, everybody just ridicules him. Like, you're after the beacon, all this sort of craziness. So you get all the sound bites with him. But Kamala, not too much.
Really? That is crazy, because, man, over here, there were so many sound bites from Trump and a gazillion more from Kamala. And she would just say these things. I don't think half of it was as ill intent as people made it out to be. But there was a lot of things, man. I mean, like, I don't know.
Where do you start?
But when you have two people that are just, I mean, like, Joe Rogan interviewed Trump. I never saw that. He tried to interview Kamala, and she said she wouldn't. I mean, there were limitations and all this stuff, and he'd have to travel, and it was just an hour. Blah blah blah. But I mean, it would have been nice to have had the opportunity to hear what she had to say over a 3-hour interview, man. Yeah. I mean, like, you can be pretentious and put all together and, my talking points. But man, after the first 15, 20 minutes, then those talking points are out, the teleprompter's off, and it's just time for people to get to know you. But yeah, man, it's, we will see, man. The future is not set. Isn't that what Sarah Connor says?
Yeah, exactly. we weren't watching the election results, but obviously on election day, we went to sleep and we're like, well, I guess tomorrow this thing's going to carry on for weeks. It's going to be counts and recounts, and woke up in the morning like, whoa, he won. Wow. It was really fast, because I remember previous elections, you're lucky if you hear who won in January, let alone the day after the election.
Yeah.
So
it seemed concise. I don't know, but it is a democracy, and everybody voted for who they thought would be best for the country. And I think it was Chris Cuomo was quoted as saying that, people voting for Trump don't necessarily like Trump.
No,
it's just that he's the man for the job. So
I
you may
I've had
not like the Punisher, but you want
yeah.
him to go take care of business. So
I've had conversations with people, and they're like, "How can people vote for Donald Trump? What's the matter?" I'm like, "Well, firstly, we don't live in the US, so we don't
right,
fully know what's going on, and secondly, it all comes down to have I got more money in my bank account because I'll be under
right,
him or her."
right,
And that's
right.
pretty much what it comes down to. And it's like, well, we
Yeah,
don't know the answer to that because we're living in the UK. But it does come down to the basics. You don't have to
yeah,
like the person. You just want more
right.
money in your bank account. You don't want to lose your job and
Yeah,
all this sort of stuff. So it'll be
ah,
interesting to see how it plays out, shall we say.
yeah,
Fingers
yeah,
crossed. I mean, there's
yeah.
certain people on the internet that go, oh, well, like the Joker. Some people just want to watch the world burn type thing.
Right,
There's those elements of people on social media,
right,
but everybody should really go, okay, I don't really like the guy, but hopefully
right,
he'll do a good job and I'll
right,
be able to afford bacon next time.
right.
I want to go get some. Who
That's right.
knows? We don't know.
Instead of powdered eggs, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so we'll get chatting about movies and TV and nice stuff rather than spending an hour chatting about
Yeah,
crazy
man.
elections. The
Yeah.
world's crazy. It could stay outside for an hour and a half.
Right.
Did you watch the 2 new trailers that dropped this week? Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, as it's now
Yes.
been called. What did you think?
Yeah. It looks awesome, man. I'm a Mission Impossible fan. I'm a Tom Cruise fan. Doesn't matter
Yep.
what he does, his craziness or
Yeah.
whatever in his personal life. Man, he knows how to produce excellent movies, and the fact that he'll put his money on the line and
And
then
his
do these
life.
crazy stunts.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks great. I can't wait for it. That's coming out in May. Is that
May
right?
next year, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? No, because they seem to be hinting at the fact that he's going to hand it over to somebody else. I've seen stories in the past couple of days going, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
going to be Glenn Powell." It's like, well, I wouldn't be shocked if it was
Oh,
because they worked together on Maverick. But could you
man.
imagine that conversation? So, Glenn,
Yeah.
you want to take over the Mission Impossible films? That
Yeah.
would be amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to follow in my footsteps. You'd be like,
Right.
I don't want to do that. Is there any actor nowadays, other than maybe Jackie Chan, that would go, yeah, I'll cling to the side of an airplane or
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
I don't know, man, because you've got a lot of superheroes, but they're all CG, so they're not really doing any of the crazy stuff. So I don't know who's another one that does his own stunts. And Jackie Chan, man, he has such comedic timing and he's so talented. But I mean, he's got to be 70,
Yeah, easily,
So, yeah, I mean, like I just think he's aged himself out. But
And
yeah,
do you
I don't
think
know, man.
do you think the Mission Impossible films would be as good if people didn't go watch them going, I want to see what crazy crap Tom Cruise is doing in real life? I don't think they would. They'd become like Fast and the Furious, where you go watch them and you go, that was fine, but I know it's all fake.
Right. That, I mean, because you do have the action, you've got the movie, the music. I mean, there's so many aspects of Mission Impossible that are all held to the highest account. And man, yeah, I don't know what the future is of that. It's kind of like Bond. Who's going to be the next Bond?
Yeah. I get really fed up with that argument because it's just like, and I guess it's social media where people spend so much time having conversations that A, you don't know the answer to yet.
Right.
So what's the point in having the conversation
Right.
for months? And Bond's
Yeah.
one of those. It's the same with who's going to be the next Doctor Who type thing. It's just like, you'll find out when you find out, oh, it's going to be this person, it's going to be that person.
Yep.
It might be, might not, but you just, no, go away from your keyboard.
Yeah.
But watching the trailer for Mission Impossible makes me want to rewatch all the Mission Impossible films again. I think I'm probably going to do a rewatch in the new year.
Yeah.
I'm
We've
feeling
got a
it.
new TV coming in a week, and I have never gone beyond HD because
Wow.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I like the way our current TV processes color, and so, but I mean, like, I want to make that move. So at that point, yeah, man, I'll probably rewatch a bunch of movies to be able to see all the added detail and stuff. And,
Are you going 4K?
Yeah, yeah.
And have you got a you've got a console, haven't you? I don't. Which console is it? Xbox or PlayStation? Xbox, isn't it?
I've got both.
Okay.
Yeah,
So one of
but
those is a 4K player, I think.
yeah, yeah. So it'll be interesting. That, and then we use Apple TV to stream all the streaming services, and that's 4K as well.
Oh, okay.
So
Yep.
yeah, so yeah, man. I mean, like, so I'm looking forward to it. But I remember my disdain for the first Mission Impossible movie when it came out in the theater. I just thought
Really?
I thought it was ham-fisted, man. When you're sitting around going. Introducing everybody by name calling. It's like, hey, Stuart, remember when you punched the Queen in the face?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, John. You remember when you were in South Africa and you jumped off the cliff and swam the Nile? Oh, that's right, but nothing compared to Tom. And I just felt like that was just awkward. It felt so belabored. And so anyway, when that came out on Blu-ray, I rewatched it and I was like, oh my God, it's good. It is awesome. What was my problem, man? So I don't know, man. Maybe I was tired. I don't know. But
what's your take on Mission Impossible 2? Because a lot of people look down on that. I don't, but
man, I kind of go from 1 to 3. What happened? I can't remember who the bad guy was in the second one.
The second one was the Chimera virus, and it was Doug Ray Scott that was the villain. Tom Cruise had his long hair, and he was clinging to the cliff at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I loved it, man. That was woo, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, man. Dude, I don't know why I thought that was number 3. So no wonder I can't remember number 2 because I'd reordered things. But
3 is three's Philip Seymour Hoffman and the Rabbit's Foot.
I don't know. See, I need to go back and rewatch it all too. And Michelle will be down with it too. And we've got a thunderous surround system, so we enjoy it, and then we enjoy it on that level too. So
nice. Yeah, but yeah, I'm feeling a rewatch of all the Mission Impossible films.
Yeah,
because I haven't seen them in a while. It's like,
I
have to go for it.
Oh wow, because I think it was either the first 3 or first 4 whenever they came out on Blu-ray, and I watched them all with the kids, just like a Mission Impossible movie week. And then I can't remember where we stopped, and I kept on watching them in the theater, because that's another one, that's one I definitely want to go to the theater for. The new Captain America. I don't know if you were going to bring up that.
That was the second trailer, which I watched this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks really good.
Good.
And I think that's a May movie, isn't it? I can't remember.
No, it's a February movie.
February. I remember one of those Marvel movies was in February, and if it's in my birthday month, I just think that it's a gift from Marvel, man.
It is. And this looks like a good gift from Marvel. The trailer I haven't caught up with all the Marvel stuff, so there's still a few gaps that I've got to go back and fill in. But I watched the trailer and I'm kind of in just for Harrison Ford. To be fair, he looks like he's having a lot of fun playing Red Hulk. It's a new sort of role for him, I think.
Yeah, and then Thunderbolts, Asterisk.
Yeah.
So that looks like it'll be fun. That almost seems like it has a similar flavor as Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think every comic universe needs something like that. So, yeah. And who knows what, I've just seen little, I don't know, footage that people have shot on the set, but I am looking forward to seeing what James Gunn does with Superman. That'll be in, was it June?
I think so. Yeah. The internet's going to go after it, though, aren't they? It's regardless of how good or how not good it is, the internet will be like, we're going to kill it because it's DC, and I'll never understand that mentality. Watch it.
Yeah.
It looks fun. I mean, it's got Krypto, the super dog in it, so we know what sort of tone. It's not going to be like Justice League Dark or something, is it? It looks like it'd be a silly film. If it's like Guardians, I'm up for that.
Yeah, I hope it is, man. I mean, James Gunn delivered Guardians of the Galaxy at a time in my life when I really needed to laugh. And I still remember I didn't even want to go, Michelle, because I was unfamiliar with the franchise. And Michelle was like, come on, we've got the afternoon off. let's go see Guardians of the Galaxy. It'll be fun. And we went in, I laughed my ass off and came out so much lighter. That's funny how a movie can absolutely remove you from whatever circumstances you're in and refresh you. So that was one of those. So I'm a James Gunn fan because he gave us Guardians of the Galaxy. So
I remember hearing about it, and I'm like, talking raccoon in a tree. Come on, give me a break. How stupid does this sound? Yeah. And I came out of it going, that was amazing. That raccoon is brilliant. The tree was awesome. And it's probably my favorite Vin Diesel role.
Right. Just like... he is a natural for that.
He is.
Yep.
So, yeah, Superman. I'm looking forward to it. So.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been watching then? Have you still been tearing your way through the Apple Plus catalog?
Dude, a bunch. So going back to what we're looking forward to, and of course some things are about to hit, like Silo 2. I don't know if you saw Silo 1.
I saw some of it, and we're going to tap into this sort of topic later on. TV show started but not finished. I started watching it, and I was enjoying it. I'm like, this is fine. It's quite good. And then I got distracted by something else and just never went back to it. So it's not that I wasn't liking it. I kind of forgot that I'd started watching it and then just never went back. So
let's see here. Marvel's What If, which is coming in December. And then here's the final one that I wanted to say I'm looking forward to coming out in 2025. The Time War. And if you and I were actually
2025, good luck.
And if you and I were actually in interview mode where we were like, in chairs talking to each other, that's when we would both look at the camera. The Time War.
Yeah,
I know.
This is where the universal sign language comes into it.
That's right.
I hope so. I really do. So, Neil, stop listening to this podcast and go finish the Time War. But the thing is, it's like, we're sort of ribbing on him a little bit. But it's like, as far as I know, other than some of the characters on screen, he's pretty much doing it all himself. So this is probably why it's taking longer.
And I get it, man. You get into editing, and then it's like you're happy with something and you move on, and then you go back and watch the whole scene and go, wow, I can make this better. Yeah. I think that is the artist curse. Back when I finished up art school and I had a portfolio of art and design and stuff, and there was always one piece that was going to be better, and then I'd add it, and then I'm like, oh, but now I can do this. And so like for the first 6 months, I rarely showed anyone my portfolio because there was always something else better coming. And I was missing jobs. Not that Neil's missing out on opportunities, but man, when something like you figure something out, or there's a better app or whatever, man, it's there is always something tugging on you.
What's the longest that it's taken you from the moment you started a project, like filming it, to the moment it came out? Mine's probably about 2 years with experience in Comic-Con, because that's pretty much the only thing I've ever finished. So that's my benchmark, that one.
I was fortunate to generally always have Dexter do a rough cut, and then I did the final cut. And we always had some sort of a film festival deadline. So, probably 6 months start to finish. Yeah, man. But yeah, I was, I do ads for the network that I'm working for. And this one producer loves sci-fi. So not that is the actual theme of the ad, but he likes it when I will throw a bunch of sci-fi looking stuff in it, and to drive the point home. And so yeah, man, it took me 3 days to do 2.5 minutes one time. But it almost gets to be like a music video where you're just like, man, that's just not popping fast enough. I need to add more clips. And then you go to the stock footage houses and you're looking for the exact thing that you want, which you can't find. Yeah, man.
I'm guessing with these ads, is it a case of, right, John, we need this done by Friday, 3:00? Is it that much of a deadline, or is it once it's done, it then let us know type thing? Do you have a little bit of?
Yeah, there's no high pressure. And sometimes it's, the review process that holds it back, because this one person needs to review it just to make sure I, spelled everything accurately, even though I copy from the script, which supposedly was spell checked, but maybe not. And so, yeah, man. And then the producer has to get final say, and they do production every week. So, I mean, they stay very busy being a TV network. And but I mean, there's really not much pressure. There was one that I was taking a little bit long on, and my boss would call me up and say, "There's no wrong answer, but when do you think you'll have it done?" I mean, so that's as much pressure as I would have. And then I would say something ludicrous like, "Oh, you should have it tomorrow by lunch." And then, that's right when the stormtrooper goes under the door and bangs his helmet back.
Do you prefer to work under pressure, or do you like the fact just give me it when it's ready? I'm more a pressure thing. As long as it's a time scale that I can do, if they go, I want your film finished by 3 o'clock today. No, it's not happening. But
when I did Captain Fluoride, the animated series, and there were just 3 little episodes that were 5 minutes or less per episode. But when I was working on that, and the animators that were supposed to be animating everything, long story short, both of them had to take other jobs, and their one wife got pregnant, the other one got sick. So anyway, at that point, it was ludicrous at the amount that I had to do all by myself. It was kind of like what Neil's going through.
Yeah.
And so I had to create all the characters from scratch in my software, and then do the bones and muscles and everything so I could move them. And then I see Neil shoots a lot of stuff practically, which is nice because it's in camera. You either have it or you don't, and you know it right then. But there were so many times when I was so tired, and I would say, okay, here's a batch render all these different scenes. And then I get up the next morning thinking, I can breathe again. I am this far ahead. And then you find out that the first clip after, 5 minutes of rendering gets stopped. And then, so you're actually behind again. So yeah, that was ludicrous. That was way too stressful. So I really don't like that. But the deadlines for the movie festivals and stuff, that was fun. I mean, I didn't mind it. It was all doable. I may have lost, not slept for 2 or 3 days, but then I made up for it. So, yeah.
I was rendering probably a couple of months ago. Annette does these diamond paintings when it's like little diamond builds it up. And she did one, and it was a 40-hour video. And I was compressing it down to about an hour, so time lapsing it. But it was still going to take 18 hours to render. And so I started it off one day, went to sleep, got up to find out that my PC had run out of space 2 minutes before the 18 hours was up. Therefore, it crashed the entire thing, and I had to redo it all for another 18 hours the following day. So it's like, give me strength. It took up something like 400 gig of my PC, this one video.
Wow, man.
That's
that is
insane.
Huge.
So, yeah, crazy. But yeah, what have you watched? Carry on.
Let's see. I was just going to say I had this one camera. This is the camera before I bought Neil's camera. And evidently a lot of cameras record this way, but it's in little 5-minute chunks. And that way, if there is a hiccup, if the drive the power fails or whatever, at least you've got everything you've shot up until then. So, but yeah, so that would have been handy for both Captain Fluoride as well as your project, just to keep saving it, man. Yeah. But it sucks when you've got like a 500 gig file, but it didn't do the final leg of code so it can be read.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It was 2 minutes from ending.
Yeah.
And when my PC's rendering, I can't work on the PC because if you even open up Google Chrome, it crashes. So I'm like, because it's it's doing what it's doing. So I just left my computer for an entire day and then had to leave it for another entire day. But we got the video done and it's on our YouTube, so it all worked out eventually. In the end.
Send me a link, man. I want to check it out.
I will indeed. Yep.
So in answer to your question, let me scroll up here. There's been a lot. I mean, like I was kind of amazed when we were putting the list together because Michelle always helps me, and because I don't always remember everything we've been watching, and then sometimes I'll remember something that she had forgotten. So that either means that we need more sleep or you and I need a podcast more often. I don't know.
I'm up for the second one. But yeah, no, you've got a busy time scale, so that's why I'm always grateful for the time that you do give me to podcast. So,
dude, it's fun, man. Let's see here. We completed season 2 of Daryl Dixon, Book of Carol.
I haven't even seen season 1 yet. That's one of the shows.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
wow, man.
with The Walking Dead. I've seen Dead City. I enjoyed Dead City. I haven't seen the ones who live. I haven't seen that yet, and I haven't seen either of the Daryl Dixon ones. So I'm a bit behind. But what's your thoughts on?
It was good, man. I mean, like it's more about the relationships in a post-apocalyptic zombie world, and how things have kind of shaken out, and Daryl has such a good heart. And so it really just kind of shows what a good guy he really is, even, despite Merle or whatever his brother's name was.
Yeah, it was Merle,
he's dealt with a lot of jackasses in his life, and but he's still just got such a good heart. And so, yeah, man, I mean, like, and obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but they left with a cliffhanger. So I think we're going to have season 3. And at some point, I think everybody's going to run into each other again. It's like, Rick and Michonne and, oh my gosh, man. The other people. Yeah, Negan. I don't know why I even
Negan and Maggie
the other day. Yep. Yeah. I even was talking about his bat the other day with somebody else. So. But yeah, man. So Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol is excellent. The Great British Baking Show continues to entertain me. This season started out, and I was so happy that they decided to just leave the chroma normal. And then about halfway through the season, all of a sudden, somebody hit a button, or somebody said, you know what? We need extra chroma. So, I mean, like, man, lipstick and glasses and everything is just neon. So, but it's still, that show has such great heart. Have you ever seen a show called From?
No.
It's, what's his name? Harold Perrineau. Anyway.
Okay, yeah, from Oz. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Lost.
Right.
Yeah, Lost, Oz, a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Yep. So he's in that, and it's the same thing as Lost in a way, in that instead of it being an island, they're in this town where, if you drive through it, then you'll just continue to loop through because you can't leave.
Okay.
And so that's in, I want to say season 3 now. And so we're watching that. Yellowstone is back.
I'm very excited. I am letting the episodes pile up. I do have a question about Yellowstone, though, because we know that Costner's not in it because he was off doing his Horizon. Do they effective?
I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to overreact at certain points, but Horizon is on my list that I started, and Michelle and I both were like, let's just stop. Yeah, but anyway, go ahead.
We'll go back to that. Do they effectively write him out of the first episode of Yellowstone? Because he is such an integral part of the series, certainly these last ones that came out. And it's like to just go, he's not in it anymore. I'm like, I'm curious to know whether they managed to stick the landing on his exit.
Yes. It is pretty definitive, although with Michelle's job, she keeps up with all the insider information and stuff. And supposedly he may come back for the next season. And I don't see how that's possible. I mean, like, maybe. I mean, there's like a 20% chance. But yeah, when you watch it, it's just the first episode, great storytelling. And they're in the present, and then they go back, I think, 6 months to show everything leading up to what happened in the first episode. Yeah, man, dude, solid.
Because for me, that was a binge show because I'd never seen any of the episodes. And then I'm like, right, I've got Paramount now. And there were 4.5 seasons or 5 seasons, whatever it was. I think it's four seasons. And I just tore through them in like 3 weeks. So for me, watching one episode per week just wouldn't cut it. So I'm going to wait until they're all on, sign up for Paramount for a month, hammer through Tulsa King.
That
season
was really
2.
good too. Yep,
And
that was
Yellowstone,
excellent.
and so there's quite a few things on. Lioness is the other one I want to watch because I've seen season 1 of that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a good old month when I sign back up for Paramount, when I dump Disney and go over to Paramount.
It's like having a very small dating pool, and you can only afford to date one at a time. So,
it's like I can only afford one Viagra, so therefore, who's the February one?
Right.
That type of thing.
It's like calendar girls, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Let's see here. Shrinking is back on.
Mm-hmm.
That is excellent. Makes me laugh every time.
This is week to week, though, isn't it? Again, with Shrinking.
It is, man. Oh, dude. And it's one of those things like Silo. I think I can't remember when I think it's on the 15th. So I guess it's tomorrow that the season 2 begins. And but anyway, I'm looking forward to it, but then I'm not, because it's normally Netflix just drops them all, except for Arcane, which is an amazing show. And then it said only one episode to go, and I'm like, they haven't wrapped up anything. This can't be right. I looked it up on IMDb, and sure enough, there's 9 episodes, not 4. Yeah. And we get to the end, it says it'll be complete on November the 15th. And I'm like, wait a minute. 5 days. How much did you need 5 days to finish the final episode? What in the world, man? What has changed?
They don't want people using these 7-day trials, though, do they? That's why they do that.
Yes.
Because people would do it. They go, right, I'm going to sign up for a week. I'm going to hammer the entire series, and then I'm out.
Right.
I would.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not a huge fan of streamers, but
yeah.
I do. Yeah. I've got Disney until I think the 26th of December.
Yeah.
And then I'm out. That'll be my 3 months up. And then I will ditch Disney and I'll jump on board some other special offer and do it that way. So, yeah. Because I never run out of stuff to watch. I've got more than enough physical media stuff to watch, let alone all the new stuff. So.
Yeah. They just keep, because you remember when we were kids and there was your TV season from like fall to spring or whatever, and then the show would wrap up, and then there was nothing but reruns. And that was when things would get warmer, the days were longer, daylight savings time, and we would just do things outside. And now we have no excuse, man. We cannot, if we love entertainment and we want to watch all these characters we're familiar with, then there's always something. Anyway, let's see here. And I'll eventually give the mic to you, unless you want to hop in or you want me to run through my list.
No, I will hop in. There's a few things there that you're watching that I really do want to watch. Shrinking, I think, is great. So anybody who's never seen season 1,
it is hilarious.
Treat yourself. Sign up to Apple for a month or 2. There is so much quality stuff on Apple.
You know what you need to do? You need to contact each of these streaming companies and say, I do a podcast, which is watched by millions. Yeah. All my social media accounts, millions of people.
Millions.
And and then if they would sponsor and give you free access so that you can comment on what's new and what's coming up and whether it's good or not.
Shudder.
It just looks like they would be pouring stuff at you,
Shudder used to.
Oh, yeah.
For probably about 3-4 years, I had free Shudder access. And then AMC fired a lot of Shudder staff, including the people who were in charge of giving me the free access.
Right.
And I emailed them and tweeted them and Facebooked them. And I'm like, I can't get in. Never got a reply from any of them. So now we just don't talk about Shudder stuff because, why would I? But, it's a shame. But Apple. I think Apple's still the best streaming platform out there with quality-wise stuff. There's a lot of good.
Although I don't know if you're a boxing fan, but tomorrow night is Tyson versus some smaller, younger guy.
Yeah, Jake Paul, who's hopefully Jake's going to get his face punched off, not in a real harsh end of life way, but just enough to teach him, don't get into the ring with Mike Tyson, he'll kill you. Who do you think's going to win that fight? Or is it rigged?
No, I think it's going to be Tyson, man. Tyson's working too hard to come back, and Tyson doesn't need the money, so it's not like a Daredevil's dad kind of thing where it's like, yeah, take this fall. But yeah, man, he's a freight train. I saw one clip where he was training with his trainer, and he hit the guy harder than the trainer thought he was going to be hit. And Tyson was very apologetic, and he was like, "Man, let's stop." And he was like, "Nah, man, I'm fine." Dude, I mean, he felt bad, but I mean, Tyson, I'm hoping it'll be at least a few rounds versus,
Jake
you
Paul
remember all
running
those
away.
early ones. Oh my God. Well, I mean, like when Tyson started off, man, Tyson would just bounce out, boom, the guy would drop, and that was it. I mean, like the shortest fights ever. So
I'm thinking it's going to be like Apollo Creed, Ivan Drago type. Somebody will be like, Tyson! And then out goes Jake Paul.
Right.
But the internet's going to ruin it, though, isn't it? It's like people are going to be tweeting along, and I guarantee that I won't have to see the fight before somebody's like, "Oh, Mike won."
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, well, I don't need to watch that then. I'll go watch it on YouTube then.
Yeah. You can watch the highlights, man, which will be the entire fight if it's like Tyson in the old days.
I think it'll be an Instagram reel, won't it? Because they can be 60 seconds, can't they? I think.
Yeah, probably.
But it'll be interesting.
The Paul guy, when he was, they recorded him telling his dad about his next fight. And when he said, "Yeah, I'm fighting Tyson," his dad was just like, "You are nuts, man." I can't remember exactly what he said, but yeah, man. So.
So I haven't been. I'll give you a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, man.
I haven't watched that much over the past few days. I finally got around to watching Ridley Scott's Exodus: Gods and Kings, which I'd never seen.
Me either.
It's okay. It's the Moses story.
Yeah.
Christian Bale playing Moses, so that's unusual casting.
Yeah,
Taron Egerton playing Ramesses,
which is also kind of odd.
Interesting. Sigourney Weaver playing like Ramesses' mom or something like. The casting's really weird.
Yeah,
the casting's very, very odd. I don't quite know why the film was made. It's not a terrible film. It's just like it's the Moses story told through the eyes of the guy who did Gladiator. That's exactly what it is. So the battle scenes are fine. There's a lot of. I was surprised how much practical stuff was in the movie though, because I remember watching the film. It's 2.5 hours long as well. You're like, oh, for God's sake. And it just looked so digital.
Yeah.
All the big sweeping landscape scenes, and you're like, I kind of like the practical stuff. But then I watched the 2.5 hour making of that's also on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And most of it is practical. It's just like they used a lot of digital to extend pillars and to duplicate crowds and all that sort of stuff. But so much practical stuff went into that movie, but it just looks digital on the film. But I realized, because it's Ridley Scott and I like Ridley Scott, and now there is only one Ridley Scott directed film that I have never seen other than Gladiator 2, which isn't, I've had a chance to watch that yet. And it's All the Money in the World, which is the only Ridley Scott film that I have not seen. So I'm going to watch that at some point, and then I will have a complete.
When did that come out?
2021. That was the one that had Kevin Spacey in it, and then Ridley Scott reshot it with Christopher Plummer. That was that one.
Oh,
gotcha, man. The Lindbergh kidnapping, I think. So it's pretty recent. It's like 2020 or 2021 or something. So it's one of his more modern ones, but that's the only Ridley one that I've not seen. Yeah. So I'm going for the completist.
I got you, man.
Got to try and do stuff. I introduced Annette to Back to the Future 2 because she'd never ever seen that.
Oh, really?
She'd seen the first one.
Yeah.
Because we're watching one of these Watch Mojo things where they're like 20 films you must see, and Back to the Future was in it. And then she went, "Oh, I've seen that one." Oh, well, you've seen them all, haven't you? She went, "Well, I've seen the first one, and I've seen the one with the cowboys." I'm like, "Have you seen the one when they go back into the first movie?" She's like, "No." The one when they go to the future and it's the book, the betting thing. She went, "No, I'm not saying that." I'm like, "Holy crap. Guess what we're watching tomorrow night?" And we watched it, and it was great. It looks really good in 4K because we have the 4K Back to the Future ones. It still holds up. Yeah. So that was a fun movie.
You were talking about watching behind the scenes, and I was going to look it up, but I'm not. I'm just going to.
You're lazy.
I will just. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's so much effort, man. I mean,
It is
whether I have my
typing stuff.
keyboard or whether I have an iPad, it just like is laborious. But Kevin Smith's documentary on Prime, and it's the making of the final Jay and Silent Bob movie, the reboot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it's excellent. But you were talking about making the scenes look, I mean, like the crowds look larger and stuff. So I don't know if you saw that movie or not, but
I've seen I've seen the movie, but I haven't seen like the behind the scenes stuff.
But it was cool, man. But I mean, and Kevin Smith just remains so grateful to be alive and to be doing this movie and all that. So yeah, man. But it was a good watch. Just random thought. It wasn't even on my list. So
well, it is now. So there's that. And then the final, I don't know if I talked about it before, but I got this. This is like the Blair Witch Project limited edition set.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
And I did an unboxing video and stuck it on the YouTube channel today. I'd seen all the content on screener discs previously, but they'd sent me a set through. My God, it's gorgeous. So nice, man. So nice. So I'm planning on shooting an unboxing video in the style of the Blair Witch Project once the weather's a little bit better. Because the woods is near me, so I'm going to go out there and try and have a bit of fun. So I watched a whole bunch of Blair Witch Project stuff over the past weeks, and there's a 2.5 hour making of on that as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that is cool, man. And that really started a new era in horror storytelling. Yeah.
I also think the Blair Witch Project made a lot of people go, do you know what? I can make a film.
Oh, yeah.
I can do that. I don't have to have like $10 million budget and super duper big cameras to go, well, they did it on camcorders. Do you know what? I could do something. I think that opened the floodgates for a lot of people just going, I'm going to give it a go. And a lot of terrible films came out because of it. But some good ones. People tried, people had fun, people experimented, and pretty much all you need.
Man, that is the film school everybody should go to. If you want to get into making movies, short or long content, man, just shoot. I see too many people being held back by, I don't have a THX 1138 camera. I don't have this, I don't have that. And nah, man. I mean, like, you have a 4K camera in your pocket. If you've got I think an iPhone 10 or later, surely the same as on Droid. I'm not into Droid, so with exception of R2D2 and C3PO, of course. But yeah, man. I mean, like, there is just go shoot and then edit it on your phone. You don't have to have the whatever the pro software is. Premiere, not Avid, and or
DaVinci Resolve if you want to download that for free on a PC. That's what I do all my stuff on, and it works. Dude,
it's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, my unboxing videos. I remember the first unboxing I wanted to do. It was a Hammer Movies box set, and I'm like, right. So I got the big camera that Neil sold me. Full tripod, shot it from different angles. So I'm going to do voiceover. I did it all, and I watched the finished product, and I'm like, I don't like it for some reason. So now what I do is I just take my Android phone, stick it on a little tripod, put it like this, and just use the hands, and it works.
Yeah.
Stick it into an editor and just put text over it when I choose to, and cut any bits out that I don't need to. And it's like, it's just on a mobile phone. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's all people need, because you're opening the doors to people to come and visit you and experience what you're seeing. So
So what else have you watched?
Let's see here. I saw Hellboy Crooked Man, which I thought was good. I know everybody was just like, it's trash, man.
Of course they were. It's what they do now.
Well, I mean, I thought Ron Perlman's Hellboy was fantastic, but I thought David Harbour's Hellboy was fantastic. And now this new guy, who I can't remember his name, that was good too, man. And it was, it reminded me more of like a Sam Raimi kind of movie, his early stuff, the way it was cut and just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say herky jerky, but I mean, Evil Dead, man. It's just like whip pan and stuff.
Like Darkman.
Yeah,
Great Samurai. I love that movie.
Yep. So, but I mean, it was good. Had a good story. Michelle didn't want to watch it because she does not like watching anything where people become possessed. And so, when we saw the trailer and the one lady went up into the air and then broke her neck and in midair, and then she's still talking or whatever, Michelle was like, "Nope, not going to watch that with you." So I watched it on my own and I enjoyed it.
Is it because Michelle watched things like The Exorcist and stuff years ago and went, you know what, I've decided I don't like that, or she always avoided it for whatever reason?
We watched the Insidious movies.
Okay.
But yet, I think those were the ones that broke her, and she was just like, you know what? I don't like this anymore. This is kind of, if it makes her feel icky, whatever her definition is, she don't want to see it. So I'm like,
that's fair enough.
Oz is in it. No, I will not. You can show me that scene. Pull it up on YouTube. So, let's see here. Alien Romulus. Have you seen that yet?
Yes, I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Dude, phenomenal. And that was one of those, the trailer, and all the hype. I mean, because, Disney Plus has had this thing on there where it's like, oh, this is an inside look in this one scene, blah, blah, blah. And look at practical effects. And I'm like, I just don't care. I don't care. And then I saw the movie and I was like, wow, this is a sequel that we have all been waiting for, man. Not that I don't like you give me a box set of all the Alien movies, and including the ones that that were people don't even consider a part of the original
Alien
franchise.
versus Predator and stuff. Or do you mean Prometheus and Covenant?
Oh, Prometheus, yeah. And then what was the one that came after Prometheus?
Covenant. Alien Covenant.
Yeah. Dude, it's still fun, but Romulus, man, wow, that was so good. And we had this, how it is. It's like I don't know how you listen to your movies, but you can find that magic volume, right, where it's not too loud, but it's not too soft. And dude, it was just, I think that made it even better. Of course, Bad Monkey, we've discussed that. That's another Apple TV show. And the season finale, man. I mean, like, it was awesome. The Penguin. I don't know.
I haven't seen a single shot of it because we don't have HBO Max over here. So
right.
I will be watching The Penguin relatively soon. I can neither confirm nor deny where I'm getting it from, but I really want to watch it. So because that's finished now, isn't it? And
it has.
Solid series.
I enjoyed it, man, and it's kind of a tragic kind of overall theme. It's very dark. I mean, it's Gotham, it's Batman, but anyway, but you see a different side of Penguin, and the ending is interesting. Don't let the internet spoil you. And then and so Michelle fell asleep somewhere near the end, right? And I was like, what was the last thing that you remember, seeing in Penguin finale? Blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, you need to finish it, because I mean, like, it just keeps stepping up. And anyway, really really good. And
is it set before the Batman, during the Batman, after the Batman?
It picks up directly after. So there's all the flood damage, and there, I think in the first episode there was even one of the reporters on TV is remarking about how whatever they called the Dark Knight in that movie, but it was like, this guy came out of the shadows to help the people of Gotham. He's a good guy, and so it's directly after that, and you see some of the characters, how they were adversely affected by it, because certainly, as in life, it's the impoverished that always get the worst of it. The mansions on the hill, flood isn't gonna touch that. So, but it was good, man. And what's that? I don't know why I'm spacing on the guy's name, but the actor playing Penguin, dude, what a transformation.
He just, I keep looking at him going, I know you're Colin Farrell, but no, you can't be yet, but you are. It's just, it's a very strange.
And periodically he'll cut a look or something, but man, they have got such amazing makeup on him that he really just kind of becomes the Penguin, and he has the Penguin walk down. I mean, like, it's solid. I enjoyed it. Are you familiar with The Old Man?
I've seen the first 2 episodes, I think, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It might even just be the pilot that I watched, but I know season 2's out now, isn't it? And it's like, I enjoyed what I saw, and then I decided to go back and rewatch a lot of episodes of 24. So I've been sort of consumed by rewatching that lately.
Right. So you watch The Old Man, then you watch The Young Man.
I watched The Young Man, yeah. Who's now an old man.
Right. But The Old Man is phenomenal, and we will definitely get a season 3 with the way they left it, and I think it's even been greenlit. But man, just, I mean, great storytelling, and the cinematography and the sound, every aspect of it is phenomenal. So
I did enjoy what I saw.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and now that season 2 is wrapped, I mean, finished up on. What was it on Hulu or FX or however we saw
Disney,
it? Then,
Disney for us over here in the UK.
It is, man.
Yeah.
I did the plan. I got on the plan, and I know that Disney's ultimate their intent was to save me money, so I'd be forced to watch commercials unless I want to pay not to watch them, which is double the price. And I'm happy saving money. It's okay, you know.
Yeah, same.
Oh, let's see here. We saw Slingshot. You familiar with that one?
No.
It's a psychological thriller that has what's Ben Affleck's brother's name? I don't know why.
Casey Affleck.
Casey. Yeah. Yep. Has Lawrence Fishburne in it, and it has the dude who was a part of a superhero team up. But anyway, they're going to slingshot around one of the moons of Jupiter so they can make it wherever they're going. And you don't know what's true and what's not, what's fact and fiction, and their minds start to degrade. And I enjoyed it. We got to the end and Michelle was like, well, because she tends to like those happy endings, but at least it didn't make her feel icky. I'm just saying, you know,
good. That's progress. Yeah. And this is a movie, not a TV show.
Slingshot. It is a movie. Right. Yeah. And I'm a sucker for sci-fi, so I was already predisposed to enjoy it. Tulsa King season 2, phenomenal. Always fun. This one was more violent. It was much more gangster, but still had the heart. So I mean, it was a good mix. And Power of the Rings. Did you watch season 1 of that?
I watched, as in the Amazon Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah.
We saw the pilot episode and we enjoyed it, but it was the same time as House of the Dragon season 1 started, and we're like, I don't really want to watch 2 swordy type things, so we'll come back to Lord of the Rings, but we never did. So
yeah, it's excellent. I enjoy it, but I get what you're saying, because we were watching both, and there were certain evenings where I was very tired, and we would watch them back to back, and then in my mind, as I slept, they would just kind of weave back and forth. And I'm like, I don't remember sex being in Lord of the Rings. Oh no, that was in House of the Dragon and whatever. So it just kind of went back and forth. So yes, it is a much easier watch if you do it, if you separate out your viewing of that kind of stuff. But this one finished up answering a lot of questions, and I'm assuming they're going to do a third. Michelle feels like they will.
Think so. Yeah, they spent that much money on it. You know what? They're going to do it until people stop watching it. So,
Yep. And the orcs look way better than the Hobbit orcs.
I've got a Hobbit rewatch coming at some point, because Annette's never seen any of the Hobbit movies. So I'm like, I'll watch them.
Well,
it's hard to sort of explain, going, look, the problem with the Hobbit movies, not so much the story. It's the digital look compared to the practical look of Lord of the Rings. So if you can get over that part, The Hobbit's not bad. It's not as good as Lord of the Rings, but it's fine.
Yeah. One of these days, when I'm in a really good mood, I'll give The Hobbits another try. But But like we've discussed before, when one butthead shows up in Bilbo's house and starts trashing the place, and they're throwing plates everywhere.
That annoyed
like,
me. That genuinely got me
up.
mad. It's like,
Oh my
why are you
gosh.
trashing somebody's house? What's the matter with you? I got genuinely annoyed for, the chaos. Don't be doing that in somebody else's house. It's not right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And my kids were just like, Dad, it's okay.
It's not okay.
It's gonna whatever. No, it is not.
It's not.
I would kick people out of my house.
Look at him, broken dishes. You got to replace those. It's ridiculous.
And what is Gandalf going to use magic? Boom, and it's all put back.
We clearly we're watching too many films and shows if we're getting annoyed by dwarves and hobbits breaking dishes. It's like, we need to get out more.
But you know what? In oh my gosh, what is wasn't A Wrinkle in Time? Time Bandits. In Time Bandits, you're following a bunch of dwarves as they break things, and it's hilarious. And anyway, and the Apple TV show, I know I've told you before, but Time Bandits is hilarious, and I hope that they get a season 2.
Nope,
they set it up.
I don't think they are. I think if you do a bit of research, I don't think you're getting one. I think they've canned it, but I could be wrong. But I don't think I am.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. Because I mean, for the most part, if I really enjoy a show and I'm like, damn, I can't wait for season 2. Boop, it's like they have the house mic, or Alexa is like going, yeah, you know what? You're supposed to be watching Prime, not Apple. We'll take care of this. So
and they cancel it.
Yeah. So what else you been watching?
I have been rewatching season 3 of 24. I rewatched season 1 a couple of months ago. I've seen season 2 a lot. It's my favorite season, but I thought that's fresh in my mind. Season 3 isn't, so I jumped back into season 3. I've got 5 or 4 episodes left, and then I have the DVDs, but I'm still watching it on Disney Plus. It's like, why? I've got the discs. I can't be bothered walking over there and putting a disc in.
Nope.
Even though I am a big fan of physical media, it's like, you know what? It's on there. It's fine.
Yep. I'm with you there. There was some movie that I knew I had the media for on the shelf. And one of these days, that'll be a part of the tour. I'll take you into the sound booth where the media library resides in the side behind the curtain. And, but anyway, I knew it was in there, but I didn't want to go find it. And so, I went on to Vudu and said purchase. And then we watched.
Oh, no. So you're actually buying things that you've got in that. See, I'm not that bad. No.
Periodically. Yeah. So
rewatching 24. I rewatched season 1 of Battlestar Galactica, the newer Battlestar Galactica. I'm leaving that as a natural gap, and then I'm going to go into season 2. I picked up on DVD the other day the 10 DVD set of the Matrix movies with all the animatrix and all the making ofs and stuff like that. So at some point, because I didn't own the Matrix movies, so I'm going to give them a rewatch at some point because they're okay. The first one's great. Second one, it's okay. Third one I do like. I'm always surprised by how people really kick the crap out of the third one, going, it's the worst. I'm like, no, that's the second one. Right. What do I know?
The second one, I agree with you on the second one. And the third one was more or less everything that they had said in the first one, except they just said it in more detail and wanted to make sure that you knew that Neo was Jesus.
Yes.
And, so, and there was, going back to Battlestar Galactica, I don't remember Battlestar Galactica 1980. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
Where they came to Earth?
Yep.
And they didn't fit in. And so anyway, I don't remember what I was doing, but periodically, man, I'll need a break. And it's easier for me just to go onto YouTube, watch a little, 5 to 10 minute video, and then get back to work. And so anyway, man, and this dude was, and I didn't even watch the whole video, but he was talking about it, and he really wasn't a fan, but he wasn't really bashing it either. But anyway, it was just kind of funny.
It was okay. It was a bit like, we're going to do more Battlestar, but you're not having a budget. So you're going to set it on Earth and you're going to just drive around on motorbikes with weird helmets on. It's okay. It's typical 80s A-team type stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, they reused, as we all observed, the space battles and stuff. It was all the same. And then they flipped the footage, and then instead of swinging in this way, they'd swing in this way. And yeah, man. I mean, like it. So I don't know. I mean, like they shot it on a soundstage. How much
Mhm.
money did they save with Battlestar 1980? I mean, yeah. So
But some of those Battlestar movies, they were released on VHS over here as movies.
yeah,
So I remember
that was what the
seeing,
guy was saying.
yeah, I
Yeah,
remember seeing Battlestar Galactica, the pilot one, which was like the first 3 episodes at the cinema
yeah,
as a kid in
yeah,
1978, I think it was. And then a
yeah,
couple of years or a few years later, they did Mission Galactica, which was the
yeah,
second one. And then there was a third one, which I can't remember the third one's name, but
yeah,
they were released in cinemas over here, so they were great.
yeah, yeah.
So
Well, what else are we gonna do while waiting on the next Star Wars, right?
yeah, exactly, or Superman
Yeah,
or something like that. So
right. Yeah.
um,
I've got to tell the Superman story one more time. And I know I've told you this a dozen times, but it never gets old. And one of these days, my sister is going to listen to one of the podcasts that I've done with you, and she will be embarrassed, and it will be awesome. So I'm sitting there with my buddy Lewis. This was, when Superman came out back in '79, wasn't it? And my sister didn't. I was going to say my sister didn't have any friends, but that wouldn't be true. But anyway, Dad and my sister were sitting, like 3 rows back. And when Miss Tessmacher came out, and there was a lot of cleavage, right?
yep.
And my sister says, loud, "Wow, Dad, she's got big boobies." And man, everybody in the theater cracked up.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, man. I'm going to have to call my sister tomorrow and remind her of that and just say
Yep.
how much I have enjoyed telling that story over and over again.
Just say I'm going to
So,
send you a YouTube link. Just go to the 1
yeah,
hour.
that's right.
Go
Yep.
to the 1 hour timestamp. So we're about an hour and 6 minutes in. So go to about an hour
There
and
you go.
3 minutes,
Yep.
and enjoy. And then you can bail out around an hour and 6 when you've gone red. And
There's
but your sister was right. She did. So
it was just that was hilarious, man. One of my movie memories. So
yeah.
one of these times we need to take some of the big movies like Blade Runner, Jaws, Alien, and that I didn't see any of those in the movie theater. And so we should discuss when we saw them and how we saw them and what we went through to see them, because my parents wouldn't let me see Alien. So I went over to my buddy's house. He had HBO.
Yeah.
So, and his dad didn't care. And then Jaws was when it was on broadcast television, which meant commercials and editing and pan and scan. So anyway, but yeah, we've talked a lot about movie theaters, but yeah, man, sometimes as a kid, we want to watch, Caddyshack. That's another story. So yeah. Man.
We should do.
Yeah.
Once we get the Star Wars prequels all out the way and whatnot.
Right.
And
yeah,
a bit of feedback as well. I did a podcast last week with Chris, the wonderfully talented musician from Canada. That's his full name.
Yeah.
And he's not a huge Star Wars fan. So whenever he would listen to the podcast and we would get to the Star Wars thing, he'd be like, eh. But he said he listened because he enjoyed hearing us talk about Star Wars. So we've won somebody over.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a Star Wars fan now, but he's definitely a fan of listening to me and you talking about our childhood and what's
nice,
Star
man.
Wars. But this week we're having a week off Star Wars because we've got another cool topic.
Yes.
So Chris, you're fine. There's no Star Wars. Interesting topic that you came up with. What TV shows did we like that we just never finished watching? So obviously, did we like them is one of the pivotal parts of that, because there's lots of shows that we watch and go, well, that sucks, I'm bailing out. But I initially came up with 3, and then I managed to get it to 4. And then on this episode, my brain's just reminded me of another one. So I have 5. The 5 shows that I really liked. But for some reason, I don't know what the reasons are, I've just never completed them.
Yeah.
So how many have you come up with? 72.
I have 2 TV shows, and I have that shouldn't be there. That is hilarious. But anyway, and I have 3 movies.
Oh, see, I didn't do movies.
Yeah, man. So
Let's
I jump back and forth.
let's do the movies then, because I'm curious to know what the rules are for the movies. Are these movies that you started watching, you never finished the movie, or are these movie franchises that you just, for some reason, haven't watched them all, or is it a mix?
Oh my god! And you want to? Oh no, that's I'm gonna add
Uh-oh.
that to my list too. The so these are movies. It's Here's an example. When Kate was still in high school and she was living with me and Michelle, and we started watching the Tom and Jerry movie, and we endured that thing, man, to the bloody end, right? And language. I'm sorry, man. I
You
forgot
can
where
you can
it's
swear
British.
you can swear as much as you want in this. We've talked about
But
politics. It's fine. We're
oh
good.
my god, yeah. But so we watched this movie to the end, and when we get to the end, Kate said, I have to admit that movie was awful." I was like, "I thought it sucked too." And then Michelle said, "I watched it because I thought you two enjoyed
Oh
it." So anyway,
no.
yes. So Michelle and I made an agreement at that very moment that from now on, if either of us really doesn't like a movie, that we will put it on, we'll pause it, and then whoever doesn't want to watch it we'll watch something else as a
Yeah.
couple, and then later on she'll finish the movie if she cares. But
Is there a time
Aquaman,
period
oh
though? Is there a time period where you look at your clock and go, right? Because we have a half an hour rule. If by half an
oh
hour we're both really hating the movie and we're like, this
yeah,
is awful, go up 30 minutes. Yep, we can bail out.
yep,
Nothing before that.
15 minutes,
15. Wow.
15 to 20. And so Kevin Costner, I really appreciate what he
I'm
does on
thinking Horizon's
Yellowstone.
going to get a shout out here, isn't it?
Yes. But I mean, like last night, one of the things that touched me deep was the
Kevin
fact
Costner.
that
No. Say no,
was
Kevin.
he highlights these artisans who make these saddles from scratch, or spurs or horse bits or whatever, right? And these are the artists. I mean, like, it's not made in a factory. This is an old man who's 90. Michelle couldn't even understand him. I don't know why I can interpret these things, but he was just, and so, but it was like this dude, but Rip is so grateful. He is just like amazed. He's gone into this museum, and I've never seen spurs made out of one piece of metal. Wait, and so, and and then the guy says, yeah. So anyway, then Rip talks to somebody else and says, once they're gone, and I'd take it back. It is another character that says, but anyway, once those artisans are gone, there's nobody to take their place. This is a craft, a trade that will be lost to time. And that's the same reason why I enjoy Jason Momoa's On the Roam so much. He covered these people who make motorcycles from scratch, or make jewelry, or make knives from scratch. And I mean, like, it just, my hat is just not just off, but on the floor, man. I am amazed at the skill level of these guys who are just taken for granted, because you can order a knife. Maybe you can't, but a good sized knife off of Amazon. It's delivered to your house. You can go hack a tree with it, but so all that being said about how much I appreciate what Kevin Costner does, Horizon's not one of them, man.
Horizon Part 1. Let's get the or Chapter 1. You got 3 more of these coming, apparently.
It's almost, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's almost like, here's a trailer, which still would have sucked, but it's like, you know what? I bet you we can make a movie out of this. And I don't know. Maybe I just missed how genius it was. But when you have people run around killing each other, and then they're under attack, and there's this and there's that, and yeah, man, it never rains in Texas or whatever, man, I don't know. I mean, but what's your name? Do I need to remember? This is worse than Game of Thrones, where it's like Maglamar.
Game of Thrones
Duke
was bad
Ragma.
for that.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, so I'm remembering their names. I'm trying to be good so I can talk this at the water cooler. boom, Magnamar dies. And so anyway, so I was lost. And I was like, who do I care about? I don't know any of these actors. And the trailer actually made it look pretty cool. Like you picked a bad day for me to wear Smith and Wesson. I can't remember, but I mean, he shoots somebody else shoots. I mean, it's a man's movie, right? It's a Western. Yeah. But man, so yeah, 20 minutes into it, and I just said, I can't, I don't want to. Yeah. And Michelle said, I agree with you. So,
and it's a shame because it's like, and this has happened twice this year, once with Francis Coppola and Megalopolis, and the other one with Kevin Costner, Horizon, where both these filmmakers went, you know what, I'm going to write the check. I'm going to put my own money into these things.
Yeah.
And they both financially failed. And it's really sad because then other filmmakers are going to go, I ain't put my own money into anything anymore. It's not worth it. And it is a shame that they failed. And I love Costner. I think Dance with Wolves, Wyatt Earp, still maintain Wyatt Earp is better than Tombstone. That will be on my grave. That will be on my tombstone. The Postman, I absolutely love. All these 3-hour epics. It's like, give me a really long film to just get my teeth into. Waterworld is great. If you watch the extended cut of Waterworld, it's even better.
Oh, really? Did it make sense?
Yeah, well, it made more sense. It made it. I mean, it's like an extra 40 minutes worth of footage or something.
Wow, man!
It's called Waterworld, the Ulysses cut, which you can get on. You can get on Blu-ray. Get it on proper Blu-ray, and it's a lot better. It's really good.
Yeah, I'll check it out, man.
Check that
they
out,
were all fun movies, man. I mean, and. There's I don't know that we talked about it last time, but there's a documentary on Netflix that is about the Earps, in particular Wyatt, and it was interesting. And I mean, overall, Tombstone got a lot right.
Of course,
Kurt Russell, and so, but some things were a little bit out of order. But I mean, anyway, so after watching that, I want to watch Tombstone, but I also want to watch Wyatt Earp. I want to give it a second chance.
I love Wyatt Earp.
When it's kind of like if you're a Tyson fan and then, he goes up against somebody that you really don't know, like the Paul guy, then, you're just wanting Tyson to go through him because you're a Tyson fan. I mean, like I've been a Tyson fan since the beginning. Short of the ear and the wife beating. I mean,
so, put those to one side. Yeah.
Right. We'll pull those off.
Forget about those.
Kind of put them into the bin. But yeah, man, it's. But I do want to see them again because I don't know why I didn't like Wyatt Earp. I felt like it was a little slower, but maybe it'll be better this time. Especially now that I've seen Horizon. So now it's going to seem faster paced.
I think in defense of Tombstone, which is not something I often do, but I do like Tombstone. I think Tombstone is a better popcorn movie. Yeah. You sit there eating hot dogs and drinking a cold drink and eat popcorn, and that is a better film. Yep. If you want to watch like a 3-hour plus epic, then Wyatt Earp is better. That's so they're very different. I love them. I really, really do enjoy Wyatt Earp. Horizon, I'll watch at some point, but I'm not a fan of watching these films when I know there's other chapters coming out. I'm like, can I just wait till the whole story's there and then just watch it all?
Right.
I don't like cliffhangers.
Netflix's 3x speed, right?
Oh God, no. No, that should be no. I know people that listen to podcasts at multiple speed. You're like, why?
Well, I mean, if they do that with our episodes, do we sound like chipmunks, or is it
probably? Probably too
intriguing. Yeah.
So 20 minutes into Horizon, okay. What else do you got? What else have you not watched?
Oh my gosh! Number one, the movie that absolutely I refuse to watch any more of, because we may go back to Horizon, right? Aquaman 2. Dude,
not seen any of
the first one was amazing. And I mean, it fell short in some areas, and it was kind of like some other stuff that we had seen, but it was still good, man. I mean, and this one was just absurd. It was like, we don't need a script. We'll just be goofy. I'll just be Aquaman, And yeah, man. And I mean, the fact that sometimes he has a wife, sometimes he doesn't. So he's got Mira down under the water or whatever when he's ruling on the throne. And then he talks to his dad when he's trying to feed his baby, and he's like, "Yeah, being a single dad sucks." And I'm just like, "Which are you, dude? Who wrote this? Who edited this?
Nobody wrote that.
This? Yeah.
Who edited it is probably the better question, I think. The studio, I believe, probably edited that one.
Probably. I'm sure James Wan was like, "Nah, man, I had nothing to do
take my name off it. Now, call me Alan Smithy from now on."
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, let's see here, man. Let's see. Space Cadet on Amazon Prime.
Never even heard of that one.
It looked stupid. It looked like a chick flick that wouldn't be entertaining to me. But Michelle watches a lot of crap from me. So, and she said, "I really want to see that." And I'm like, "You know what? We'll watch it." And about 15 minutes into it, she said, "Okay, you were right. This sucks. It is stupid." And so yeah, man, we shut that down. Fast and Furious. I don't remember the last one. That I think it was the one before Jason Momoa.
9 was
the movie
9's bad. 9's not good.
Halfway through, and I mean, I've heard great things about Jason Momoa's character.
He's great.
I guess he's Dom's other brother. I mean, like, he's got so many brothers he's never heard of. So anyway, but yeah, it's and I've even told Michelle, I said, let's just skip the rest of 9. Jump to 10.
9's rough.
Yeah.
I like the Fast and the Furious movies. Annette hates them. She's every time I'm like, put the movie on. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm going to put a family movie on. She's like, don't you dare. She knows as soon as I say the word family, she's like, no. And I'm like, okay. And I would never do it because she hates them. I like most of them. I wasn't a huge fan of number 8. Number 9 was terrible when they go into space. Yes, they do go into space in cars. And then number 10, Momoa. The main reason to watch number 10 is Jason Momoa. He's chewing up the scenery. He is the son of. Do you remember number 5 when they stole the big safe and they're dragging it through the city? Yeah. Well, the person they stole the safe from is that character is Jason Momoa's dad. So that's where Momoa is.
He's not Dom's brother in any.
No.
Oh,
wow, John Cena plays Thingy's brother in number 9, doesn't he? But
dude, that was another thing that was dumb, man, because he's a teenager and he's like 5.5 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like, they make comments. He's 18. He's whatever, right? And then when he shows up, I mean, John Cena's got to be 6'5", you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't understand what just happened there. I mean, did he suddenly get some protein? I mean, like, I can understand getting bulky because Cena is huge, but he grew a foot? I don't understand this.
Yeah, 9's bad. Yeah. I would probably hold off watching 10. The reason is number 10 ends on a cliffhanger where you are like,
right?
You've ended it there. When's the next one coming out? Oh, you don't know yet. Brilliant. So I would probably hold off and then watch 10, 11, and then I think that's it. But 10 is better than 9 a lot.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. That's encouraging. It's almost like that Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, man. My buddy took me to go see it. And so we're sitting there in the theater, and it's an amazing movie, man. And it just picks up all the speed and everything. And then, boom, cliffhanger. And I was like, what the hell?
When's the next one coming out? Let's sign language it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know when it's coming out. At some point, a few years probably, maybe.
Yep. I mean, hopefully it made enough money, and hopefully Sony says, you know what, we do care. Because a friend of mine went to go see the latest Venom movie, and he said he enjoyed it, although the critics hated it. Yeah. So then now I think I've heard that Sony and Marvel are playing nice with a really nice contract where they can do the Sinister Six with Disney, and then they can do something else or whatever. And so that'll be good. I mean, like, to be able to have some, because I mean, the Spider-Verse it's fun, man. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the comic books, Spider-Man and Batman growing up. So,
yep.
Yeah.
So let's get on to your TV. What have you got? What TV shows did you start that you enjoyed that you never finished watching? I was quite surprised by some of the ones that I've got. I'm like, why did I not finish those? I need to.
I'm gonna burn my 2, and then because you've got a huge list, so
I got 5. So
you beat me by 3, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Lessons in Chemistry, which is Apple TV, and it's this scientist who becomes a hostess on a baking show. I can't remember her name. She's the one that plays Captain Marvel or whatever in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Brie Larson. So, yes, thank you. Who I don't understand why everybody hates her. I think exemplary actress.
I think she said something once that people didn't like, and then they're like, "Oh, I guess we hate her now." It's like, all right, and well, whatever. But yeah, I think she's great.
Yeah. But so this is the show where she is she's hyper intelligent and very awkward. And she meets somebody who is hyper intelligent and awkward. And they fall in love as much as 2 hyper intelligent beings that are very awkward can fall in love. And so I think we made it to like the 3rd episode. Michelle said, "This is just trash. I don't like anybody."
Oh, no.
And I get that, but I mean, it was her quirkiness that kept me watching. And but man, we stopped watching it together, and there were some other things that came up, and I got on to other things and just kind of left it behind. Okay. And we both commented yesterday that I think it's on Netflix. It's Cumberbatch in something called Eric. And we watched, the guy's son is kidnapped. He does a Sesame Street kind of show. And his son is kidnapped or disappears. And so he's trying to find his son and enlist the aid of his son's imaginary character that he drew, this big monstrous hulking thing known as Eric. And we were watching it and enjoying it, and I don't know why we stopped. But I mean, it was funny, and that came up in because usually Netflix is relentless. It's like, don't forget to finish that episode.
Yeah. You've left this in your basket. Movie. Buy it. I don't want to buy it. I was just looking at it. No, you gotta buy it. No, go away. Delete. Spam.
Yep. That or jump into Amazon. They are ridiculous when it's like I'm looking at iPads, or I buy an iPad and it says, "We have a suggestion for you, iPad." I'm like,
so yeah, I got some suggestions for you, Amazon, and they're not nice.
Suggest something that I don't. I mean, like, surprise me, Yeah. But anyway, so that was it, man.
With these 2 shows, do you think you'll go back and finish them, or do you think, it's been too long, I'm kind of out?
Chemistry, probably not. But Eric, I think we will. So.
Because I think looking at my list, it's like, oh yeah, I hadn't realized that I hadn't finished my choices. I'm like, no, I really haven't. And mine are all bigger than yours, so you may be a little bit horrified at some of these. First one is The Handmaid's Tale, which I was really enjoying. I've seen probably 1.5 seasons of it, and there's been like 5 seasons of that show now. I really do. And I don't know why I dropped out of it. I think I just watched something else and then forgot. So I'll probably go back and watch the entire run once the final season's out.
It is kind of dark. I mean,
really,
there are some times when maybe you don't feel like watching a TV series about oppression, and
especially in this world that we live in now. You're like, you know what? No, I don't.
But it really is good. So I would recommend that you go pick it up and watch it.
So that's my first. The second one is I have not seen the final 3 seasons of the X-Files.
Yeah, I'm down with that, man.
So I didn't see the 2 seasons that when it came back. I haven't seen those 2 seasons, and I didn't see the final season with Robert Patrick in. So I don't know why. I just haven't. But I do own them, which is crazy. So for some reason, I'm not watching them.
Yep, I have my favorite episodes, and based upon those episodes, Jake and Heather came up with a list. Very sweet of them. Came up with a list, and because I don't want to watch everything. That was another show that just, oh my gosh, man. But they were like, if you like the Genie episode, then you'll like 3, 5, 7, 12, whatever. And I mean,
Yeah.
like, give me a list of maybe 12 that I would enjoy if I sat down and watched it. So
I dug out the box set, which has all but the season 10 and 11 on it, and I started.
Right.
I'm going to do a rewatch because I haven't seen the
Yeah.
X-Files in a while. I got maybe
Yeah.
2 episodes in. I'm like, I'm not going to watch 200 and something episodes of the X-Files. I'm out. So I just put the box set away, and it didn't bother. I think it was a great show in its time. It just looks a little bit dated. And there's just too many damn episodes nowadays. It's like 20 odd episodes. I ain't got time for that.
And
Yeah.
that's almost like Farscape, which is still one of my favorite shows, although that has not aged well. I love the characters, but it's obvious that it's a Jim Henson production and there are Muppets involved. So.
Yeah. So X-Files. The next one, I haven't seen season 10 of Smallville. Never season of that. But yeah, the first 9 seasons, I really enjoyed that show. Really good.
Really?
Never seen the last season. I have no idea. I think it was because when they were coming out, I would pick up the season box set. And I would watch it. And then for some reason, obviously, life was taking over whenever season 10 came out. And I just never bothered picking it up. And then you get to a certain time period. We go, it's been like 8 years since I've seen Smallville. Yeah. Why am I going to go into season 10? I'm not going to remember anything. So, you know, at some point, I would like to go back and complete that one. The next one
I think that's the fun thing with 24 is that no matter which season you land on, there's Jack, damn it, Chloe, and don't fight me, Curtis. I mean, like that's up until one of them dies. I can't remember, but yeah.
So it's like with 24, I could just go right. Finish season 3. I'm now going to watch season 7, and it works.
I think
catch up really fast.
Yeah.
The next show, I've never seen season 7 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The final season of that, never saw it.
But you followed it up until then.
Yeah.
And which I think I watched maybe, I don't even think I finished season 1. I thought the movie was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, you know, and that was what got me to watch the TV series. But I don't know. To me, it was just, again, there's like, was it Supernatural?
Mm-hmm.
There's, I mean, like, at one point, it just felt like you were wading through cheese. Yeah. And it was just, you know, and then there's the music episode, and there's this or whatever. And and I'm not opposed to music episodes, man, at all. But I mean, it just back then to me, it felt odd. But yeah, man, I just felt like I don't know why I want to watch this. But then Serenity, watched it, or Firefly, gets confused between the two. So yeah.
So there's that one, and then my final one is I have not seen. I believe it's the last 2 seasons, so season 5 and 6. I do own them all on DVD, and it is the TV series of The Dead Zone, which I love that show. Season 1, great. Season 2, great. 3, great. 4, great. 5 and 6, haven't seen them. Don't know why. Have them in the other room on DVD. I picked them up, I think last year, though. I'm like, I'm going to rewatch all these because it is a solid show. But for some reason, I just didn't see the final 2 seasons of that. And I'd quite like to see how it ends.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I wonder how much was wrapped around a writer's strike somewhere along the way, or an actor's strike. And because I don't know. I remember there were different shows that got snagged due to the writing strike. And I don't know. There was one. What was that one that had the? It was the town that they thought that because they were cut off from everybody, there was no power, no
under the dome. Is it perhaps?
No, it was before that. It was.
I'm having a vague flashback of a TV show. It looks like an old Western town type thing where people.
It was set in modern day, but it was very it wound up being very much a Western, and then it got canceled, and then it took years before they brought it back, and they couldn't afford most of the cast, or maybe they had obligated themselves to other things, and but man, I mean, like, that was another tough watch going.
That wasn't Jericho, was it? Because that's a different.
That was it, man.
That's a different show than I'm thinking, but I remember Jericho. So yeah. was a
the
good
first
show.
season was great, man. And then the second season just, you know, Billy Joe Bob got killed, so-and-so got killed, and somebody ran off with somebody, so they're gone now. And yeah, I even killed my own brother, and now it's just me carrying the whole show or whatever. But yeah. But it was interesting that you've got sorry, man, all these different messages keep popping up. I hate group text because it's just like one person starts the fuse like in Mission Impossible, and then
it all keeps going.
Oh my gosh, and tumbles, and then I'm doing a podcast. Everybody, come on!
They don't know that, though, I suppose. Maybe they do. Maybe you told them and they just don't care.
No, I did not. This is always a surprise, man. Nobody knows. Not even I mean, Michelle knows, but that's it. Nobody else knows. Yep.
So that's my shows. That's the one, and I would like to finish a lot of those, but I probably won't. I'm not going to watch 3 seasons of the X-Files or Buffy. The only one on there that I really probably will finish is the Dead Zone, because I'll just start from scratch, and I have them all in physical media, so I'll just watch them all. Right. And I think they're all like 13 episodes per season as well, which is a nice manageable number, I think, rather than 20 odd.
Versus 24.
Yeah, I am never going to watch Supernatural. I saw the pilot and I'm like, this is a really good show, and then now it's been running for like 15 years. I'm like, I'm never going to watch that many episodes.
It's a commitment, man.
Too many.
But when there were different shows that would say, oh, we're going on hiatus for this month or that month or whatever, and not Jack Bauer, not 24, man.
No.
They popped them out one per week, man.
I love 24. That's and it's still a solid show. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time I've seen each season, and it's still because there's that much packed into each season. You're like, oh, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, but I have them all. I have the full run of 24 on physical media, all of them, including Legacy.
Oh, okay. That was my next question. If you had that too, man. Yeah, it was all really good. And what was the next show that he did, Kiefer? Where
Designated
he was
Survivor. That's a show I didn't finish. But that would probably go on the list as well. But I've not seen all of that. But that got cancelled, didn't it? And you're like, well, is there any point in me? It's no point.
Yep. Yeah.
No point.
Ooh, that's another good topic. Which TV shows that were canceled after the 1st or 2nd season would we still recommend people watch?
There was one that I watched starring David Caruso. Yeah. And the name of the show, I can't remember the name of the show, but the name of the show was his character name, and he was a lawyer, like David Hayes or something like that, I think it was called. Michael Hayes. I think it might be Michael Hayes. Or that may be Michael Clayton I might be thinking of. And season 1 ended with a sniper aiming a crosshair at him, and it cut to black, and you heard a gunshot, and you were like,
right.
And it never came back. I don't know what happened to David Caruso. I think his career got shot. But that was a show that was really good. Only lasted 1 season. Never to return. So
he was one of those. I remember he was doing TV, and then he decided, you know what, I'm better than TV. I'm going to do movies. And he made one bad choice, and everybody's like, yeah, you're not coming back. So
NYPD Blue, he did like 1 season plus a few episodes in season 2, and then he got killed in the show. And then he went off to do, I think it was Kiss of Death, starring Nicolas Cage, and that never really financially went anywhere. And then he's like, I'm going to go back to TV and just live in CSI Miami for the next however many years. Right.
He did come back. You're right.
He did, eventually.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Oh, it's good that they let him back in. But, it's also nice that movies and TV are now the equivalent of each other. Because I remember there were a lot of movie stars that were like, man, you'll never catch me on TV. And then the TV stars are like, I really would love to be in this movie. Nah, you can't be in that movie. Yeah. You're a TV personality. So it's nice that,
I remember 24 coming out, or just, it was advertised. And I remember thinking, Kiefer Sutherland's doing a TV show? That's awesome. I got to watch that. I didn't know what the TV show was about. And he's the first one I remember where it's like, you are a movie star and you're going to go do this long-running TV show, which I always thought was just going to be 1 season. But thankfully, I'm like, oh, my God, we're getting a season 2. Oh, we're getting a season 3. Oh, how long is this thing going to go on for? At some point, I'm going to be sad because it will get cancelled. And I think we got up to like 9 seasons or something. So there is a lot of 24 that we can watch. But
and it's good, man. I mean,
Yeah. So what's your plans for the rest of the day then? I'm going to do not much. I'm going to watch an episode of 24 because it's near 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
I've been to the doctor's today to have my full health check. I always avoid those.
Good,
I don't
man.
like them. I'm like, nope. And I've got high blood pressure, so they give me some pills to take. Brilliant. They're booking me in for an ultrasound for some issues with my arm. Don't know what that is.
Right.
All this stuff. They're like, well, you've come in for stuff. We're going to send you out with a load of appointments. I'm like, oh. So that was my day. It's really cold here in the UK. It's horrendous.
Dude, I noticed. Yeah,
periodically. It's foggy like The Exorcist outside. It's like,
really?
that sort of fog.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spend all my day tomorrow just curled up on a couch under a duvet watching TV and playing video games. That's my plan. So
yeah, that's good, man. I played video games with my son who lives out in Indianapolis, and so I usually, like, once a week will play Gears of War with him for about an hour, and then today we are going out to eat dinner with Ian, Michelle's youngest kid, and his girlfriend at a kind of a mom and pop pizza place. And then, let's see here, tomorrow, I don't know, man. I mean, like, Michelle is getting new tires on her car. I mean, like, it's not very exciting. So, and we will have grandkids over, and so anyway. But we're not doing horseback riding lessons on Saturday. I realize you only asked for this evening, but I kind of spread that out. Just like Costner in Horizon.
Well, I think
spread this out.
How about instead of going out for food tonight with Ian and his girlfriend and Michelle and yourself, you could just all gather around the TV and just watch Horizon Chapter 1 instead. Maybe that could be Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1. Sorry, Kevin.
Right.
I didn't give it its full title there. Even the title's 3 hours long. It's like, love of God.
It is, man. Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, dude. There's some very long titles out there.
There is.
Yeah.
I hope you have a wonderful evening out. Always good to be a bit thoughtful, apparently, from what I've read.
Yeah.
And then thanks for sharing your choices of what you out and never bothered to finish watching. So
I'm sure there's an even bigger list. It's just Michelle and I will have to sit down and compare notes. So.
Yeah, definitely. But you enjoy your evening, John.
Well, you too. And as always, it's a pleasure catching up, man.
You take care and enjoy your day.
All right. You too, man. All right.
Bye.
Bye.